Good day everyone, we are here to explain to you the 6 BIR forms. I know some of you are familiar with this and some are not. So let's start with the BIR form number 1700. BIR form number 1700 is annual income tax return for individuals earning purely compensation income, including non-business and non-profession related income. To understand this more, every resident citizen deriving compensation income from any source, as well as resident aliens and non-resident citizen deriving compensation income from within the Philippines, are the ones that must file this return, but with the exception of the following. A person with a taxable income of less than 250,000 and an individual concerning pure compensation income as defined in Section 32, parenthesis A, parenthesis 1, derived from sources within the Philippines, the income tax in which has been correctly withheld, tax due equals tax withheld, under the provisions of Section 79 of the Code, provided that an individual deriving compensation concurrently from 2 or more employees at any time during the taxable year shall file an income tax return. Individuals whose only source of income has been subjected to final withholding tax under Section 57, parenthesis A of the Internal Revenue Code. And lastly, a minimum wage earner as defined in Section 22, parenthesis H of the Tax Code, or a person who is exempt from income tax under the tax code and other general or special laws. This return must be filed by April 15 of each year, and it covers the previous taxable year's income. The next form is BIR form number 1701. This is an annual income tax return for individuals including mixed income earner, estates, and trust. This talks about individuals who are engaged in trade and business or the practice of the profession, including those with mixed income. Mixed income are those engaged in trade and business or profession who also earn compensation income. So they are the ones who must file BIR form number 1701 in accordance with Sec 51 of the Code as amended. The annual income tax return summarizes all of the transactions that occurred during the taxpayer's calendar year. This is the following individuals that must file this return regardless of the amount of their gross income. A Philippine resident who engaged in trade, business, or a professional practice both within and outside the country, Philippines. A person who is a resident alien, a non-resident citizen, or a non-resident alien who is engaged in trade, business, or the practice of a profession in the Philippines. Where such trust, estate, minor, or person is engaged in trade or business, a trustee of a trust guardian of a minor, executor and administrator of an estate, or anyone acting in fiduciary capacity for anyone. And a person who works in a trade or business or practices their profession for a living. This return is filed on or before April 15 of each year, covering income for the preceding taxable year. The third BIR form number is 1702, which is an annual income tax return for corporations and partnerships. Every corporation, partnership, joint stock companies, joint accounts, associations, except foreign corporation that not engage in trade or business in the Philippines, and joint ventures or consortiums formed for the purpose of undertaking constructions, projects, or engaging in petroleum, coal, geothermal, or other energy operation. These government-owned or controlled corporations, agencies, and instrumentalities are the one that is eligible to file in this form. The President, Vice President, or other major officers shall file the return in triplicate copies and sworn to by such official and the treasurer or assistant treasurer. Every general professional partnership must file an income tax return that includes the gross income and deductions, as well as the names, TINs, addresses, and shares of each of the partners. The general professional partnership is not required to pay income tax. Instead, the individual partners are responsible for paying the tax. The return must be filed on or before the 15th day of the fourth month following the end of the taxpayer's taxable year, with or without payment. This return must be filed with any authorized agent bank located within the Revenue District Office's territorial authority.
BIR Form number 102EX. Annual Income Tax Return for Corporation, Partnership, and other non-individual taxpayer exempt under the Tax Code as amended, Section 30 and those exempted in Section 27, and other special laws with no other taxable income. This return shall be filed by a corporation, partnership, and other non-individual taxpayer exempt under the Tax Code as amended, Section 30 and those exempted in Section 27, and other special laws with no longer other taxable income, but not limited to foundations, cooperatives, charitable institutions, non-stock and non-profit educational institutions, and general professional partnership, and etc. This return is filed on or before the 15th day of the fourth month following the close of the taxpayer's taxable year. This form is for corporate taxpayers with activities that are exempt from income tax, such as the regional area headquarters, representative office, charitable institutions, and general professional partnerships. This return shall be filed by every corporation, partnerships, and other non-individual taxpayers with mixed income subject to multiple income, with tax rates, or with income subject to special or preferential rate. This return is filed with or without payment on or before the 15th of the fourth month following the close of the taxpayer's taxable year. Lastly, the BIR Form 2316. The BIR Form 2316, or Certificate of Compensation Payment, tax withheld is an official document that states an employee's gross income and the appropriate taxes withheld by the employer during the fiscal year. Employers are required by the Bureau of Internal Revenue (BIR) to issue a certificate tax withheld on compensation to employees at the BIR Form 2316 sample filled up end of the financial year.